I've spent most of my life, now that I look back at it as a 27-year-old, I've spent most of my life in isolation and all by myself. And as I look back at my childhood, the way I was growing up and my upbringing, I feel that loneliness was a huge part of it. So if I could give one title to my childhood, it would be loneliness. And back when I was around 10 years old, I was a single child up to that point. So this didn't help. I didn't have any siblings up until I was 10 years old, which created this gap between me and my sister. So when my sister was born, there was this 10-year difference between us. So I didn't feel like I was able to connect with her as much as I wanted to. And I didn't have any friends at school. So I had maybe a couple of people that I used to know there. But whenever the bell rang, everyone went their separate ways. And I didn't feel like I was having this connection with anyone. So I've referred to playing a lot of video games when I was younger because I felt that it was just a way where I could escape my reality. I didn't feel happy and proud of myself, and I had social anxiety. I had severe social anxiety. I wasn't able to talk to anyone or even keep eye contact with them, and I felt everyone was above me, and I needed to prove myself to them. And I wanted to live in complete isolation because I felt that other people were better than me and that I couldn't hang around with them. And most of the time, I was just chilling all by myself, sitting in my room, playing video games, isolating myself from the world. And these are very important years, especially if you are a young person. So I would say between the ages 8 to 16, 17, these are your formation years. This is where you build your character. These are the years where you discover yourself more and you start building a connection with yourself. And the connection that I've built with myself and the vision that I had for my own personality was a weak person. I used to look in the mirror and I saw this weak, skinny, and insecure kid that couldn't be accepted in society. And once you feel that you are not accepted in society, that's something really painful because I would go on Facebook back then and see all of my friends posting pictures, going to parties, getting girlfriends, and these were all things that I didn't do. I didn't experience any women in my life. I didn't feel that I was able to build a relationship with a girl because I just felt that I wasn't good enough. And once you put yourself in a lonely state where you isolate yourself from the world and you don't want to connect with other human beings, at the end of the day, your mind is going to eat you up. You're going to feel that you are just feeding yourself negative thoughts. But it doesn't have to be that way. So I'm making this video just to tell you that loneliness is a double-edged sword. So you can either use it to destroy yourself and your mentality and have a bad outlook on yourself, or you can use it to learn new things and try to recreate the person that you are, which I did through also loneliness. So later in my life, when I've turned 25, I've decided to come to Germany, even though I didn't have anyone here other than my aunt and my cousins. So once I've moved here, I felt loneliness at its purest form. So back then, when I was in my hometown, I didn't feel like I was completely lonely because later in life I was able to interact with people and make more connections. But once I've come here, I felt that nobody knows who I am, and this is really reminding me of my own childhood because I'm living in the shadows once again. But I didn't let the shadows affect me. I didn't let this feeling of loneliness and of isolation go to waste. So I've took this dissatisfaction that I had with my loneliness and I've decided to recreate my personality, whether it was shaving off my long hair, changing my ways, going to the gym more, starting to read, being more dependent on my own self instead of depending on others. All of these things have reshaped my personality and the way that I look at myself. So now, as I pull out old pictures and see old photographs of the way that I used to be and how I looked at loneliness and see it as a bad thing, now I look at loneliness and see it as an opportunity to grow and to evolve. So it shouldn't be this sad story where you are alone, you are sitting in isolation and you feel sorry for yourself. No, you can use your isolation and your loneliness to pick yourself up from the dust and build something for yourself that you're going to be proud of. And this happens through anything that you are trying to learn. If you're trying to learn a new language, like learning German, for example, when I've moved here, I had to reshape my entire way of thinking and the way I've perceived the world. So loneliness is no longer a problem that I try to resolve, because my own happiness comes from inside of myself. It doesn't come from validation from others. And once you understand that you can create your own happiness through your routine, through the things that you are passionate about, that you are working on, loneliness will magically disappear. People are going to come to you and they're going to start connections with you, and through your experience you'll be able to build connections and gain other people's trust, and you're going to have something to offer to people who want to create relationships with you. So I no longer look at myself as a weak kid that can't attract any girls. Now I'm super proud of myself, and I know deep from inside that I am confident in my own skills and my own abilities. I have built myself using my loneliness, and you should do that as well. You should be looking at loneliness as an opportunity to grow and to reshape your life if you are not satisfied with it. So instead of looking at your loneliness in a way where you need to get rid of it as soon as possible, so you go out and start creating relationships with random people just because you don't want to feel this loneliness, maybe look at it in a way where you are privileged to be lonely because you get to spend more time with yourself, and you get to understand yourself even more. And yeah, that's everything I wanted to talk about in this video. If you have any thoughts that you would like to add or any comments, make sure you write them down and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.